Mastering real estate with a peace of mind. If you ever feel like your business is chaotic and overwhelming, this episode is for you.
Welcome to the Open Books Podcast, where we discuss all things real estate, helping you take the road less traveled to real estate success. I'm your co-host, Curtis Haddock, alongside Casey Tuter.
Hello.
And the absence of Brooke Massey.
Yep. She had a baby and she's tired, and that's what happens.
That's what happens. She's learning why
It
we
is
were always
exhausting.
tired. Yeah.
It's very exhausting, and it's hard to recover from.
You don't really know until you know.
Uh-huh.
You know, you hear people talk about how exhausting it is, and it's like, I don't know what my mindset was like before I had kids. It's been so long now, but I can imagine if I heard people talk about how tired they were all the time, I'd be like, yeah, we all know babies are tiring, but get over it,
Yeah.
And
you chose it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Now that I have lived it and experienced it, I'm like, yeah. Every once in a while, you're gonna be up all night.
Yeah, and you just don't realize, because it's like, oh, they get up every 3 hours. That's not too bad. At least you get 2.5 hours sleep. No, you don't, because sometimes the baby doesn't feed. Sometimes it takes them 45 minutes. Then you got to wash the bottles, and then you got to try to get them back down. Then they get gassy, and then you got to burp them, and the next thing you know, it's been 3 hours.
You want to know the worst thing? All that happens, right? Then you figure it out. You get a routine. You get them comfortable, and then something changes.
Yeah, they regress or move to the next milestone.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right, man.
The joys of raising children.
Yep, it's beautiful. So enjoy your morning off, because it's only going to be allowed so many times. You're reaching your absence limit.
Yeah.
Since we have all that kind of stuff here.
We have kids
too. It's in the policy and procedure. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Man. Well, today we're going to talk about, I got some good advice once of working on your business compared to working in your business. And I don't think a lot of people realize there's a difference. Working in your business every day is, getting your contracts written, setting up your showings, just being inside of it. Working on it is refining those processes so you can be more efficient.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a distinction, and a lot of people find themselves in an area where they're most comfortable, because as humans, that's what we seek. We seek out comfort. But growth happens when you are uncomfortable.
Right.
And I think people forget about that.
That really sucks. But
it does.
It's just the way it is.
It does. It's like, I wish growth happened in comfort,
Let me just sit on the couch and watch these muscles just grow.
I remember someone telling me, stress, people always talk about stress as a negative, but stress, the right amount of stress is actually positive, because that is when you push yourself to compete, to do better, to problem solve, and again, that's where growth is going to take place. So today, we got a couple points that we're going to go over. We're going to talk about how to ditch the busy badge, and I really believe that every person falls victim to this. Being busy does not mean that you're being productive. It just doesn't. And a lot of people probably think that they're being productive, and to an extent they're productive, but they're not. They're not working on their business. They're being productive in their business. Again, a very key distinction there. And then we're going to talk about how to recognize those differences between productivity versus busy work, and the differences, what you can do about it, how to recognize it. And then clarity to eliminate the chaos around you. There's going to always be noise and people telling you to do this and to do that. And you have got to be able to find systems to put in place. And you also have to figure out your core values as to who you are, so that if the noise is going to create something that deviates from your core value, your mission, then you got to be able to say no to it. So let's start with ditching the busy badge and what that looks like and how to do it. So
pay people to be busy for you.
All right, let's go on to the next. I mean, it's simple, but there are ways to, do you think there's ways to do it without having to pay somebody? Like you can delegate. I mean, it's going to be hard to find a permanent solution for things without paying somebody for sure. But, you know, there are some people that are really good at finding ways to delegate. At the end of the day, though, you're going to have to hire employees and people that work for you, and take away some of that busy work. I am somebody who for sure has been a victim of this. And I think what ends up happening is we grow. I hire people to take certain tasks away, but it doesn't like make it to where I'm all of a sudden working less.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
I create it, but it allows me to work on the actual business, and then the business grows. We get more agents, more systems get put into place. We have ideas that come that we work on. And then all of a sudden, I am doing other tasks that are keeping me busy. And there are times where I haven't recognized that I am actually doing busy work instead of money-making activities for months. And
yep.
And I think that it's like there's been times where I've created a bottleneck.
I was just going to start. I was going to talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly what ends up happening is I, end up doing all these tasks because I feel like that they got to get done. I don't have anybody that I can delegate them to. I don't have time to train somebody. And so I'm just going to do it real quick. And then before you know it, I look back, the day's gone. And then before you know it, I look back and the month is gone.
Uh-huh.
And then I realized, shoot, I need to hire somebody. And every time that I hire somebody and I take it's not fun, like training somebody on these tasks.
Yeah.
Part of the worry, I think, too, is like, well, what if they're not good? What if they don't work out? What if I start
quit?
They're going to quit, or I have to spend money, and do I have the money to spend on this? And I think what a lot of people don't realize is everybody's trying to keep as much of their money as they possibly can. They make a certain amount of money, and then they start adjusting their life around to that level of income that they're making. I challenge everybody to not do that because, you got to put money aside every single month. And whether it's you want to save up to a certain goal or you want to budget off of a certain percentage, then spending a couple $100s a week on an employee is not as hard as it looks if you make consistent income, because what that's going to do is that's going to take your income from, let's say you take your total amount of money that you make per year. Let's just go with $100,000. Okay. Let's divide that by 52 weeks. That's going to be just under $2,000 a week. Okay. So let's say that you make $2,000 a week. So that's $104,000 a year. Okay. Now let's say you can go hire somebody for a couple $100s a week. Okay. Let's do 200 times 52. So if you can find that's $10,400 a year. So if you're making $104,000, obviously we're eliminating. We're not. You got your business expenses, taxes, and all that stuff. But just off of the gross, $10,400. Okay, so now you're left with $93,600. But what people don't realize is when you spend that $10,400, that $104,000 is going to go up by more than $10,400.
Right.
But I think that many people
are
afraid to bet on themselves.
Yeah, and they know that's why they're hiring, but they don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah,
which is crazy, and because this is what I was telling Claire with hiring an assistant. For me, it's just like and I was like doing something right then while I was talking to her, and it's like I could not be doing this right now. And I said, I look at it this way: if I sold 30 houses in a year and pay the assistant $250 to write the contract, put the listing agreement together, and then list the house on the MLS and share some TRRs, I'll pay that person $7,500 for the year with 30 transactions. And that is, that's like one house sale.
It's nothing.
So if I can't sell one more house, then I mean, the issue is definitely in the brain.
I promise that people who have the ability to sell houses, if they go find somebody to help them with their mundane tasks, you're going to be able to sell more houses. And I'll even go further with this. When you first hire somebody, the greatest thing that happened to me was all of a sudden, and I when I hired like my first assistant to do my main like administrative tasks. Like, you know, I've hired employees to do the things in the business that need to be done. But when I hired somebody that was just for myself, the first thing that it did was it changed my schedule. Mm-hmm. And it came at the perfect time because life hit me hard this past year. And I was able to be present with my family more. Uh-huh. Because when something came in, or I knew that we're tracking things for our business, right? For our real estate brokerage. And it's like something comes in and I need to go. And there are some tasks that would take me an hour to do once a week, but we had a bunch of those things.
You're right.
And it added up. Yeah. And so it was on my mind. I was having a hard time being present with my family. They would go to bed. I would have to stay up, get all this stuff done, just so that I would be able to help people the next day and do anything else that comes across my schedule. Well, as soon as I had somebody take over those tasks, I was able to not think about it at all.
Yeah. And
I think a lot of people don't realize the power in that because they're afraid they're gonna think about the controlling aspect of it. Because I think we mentioned this earlier, when we were talking that before we started recording, that people don't do it because it's either a control issue, a money issue, or some combination of the two. And if you can let people make mistakes, and if you're good at hiring somebody, like go through the process of finding a good person. If you don't think that they are going to be a good fit or do the job, then don't hire them.
Right.
Have good interview questions, find out their history. Don't hire somebody that's not qualified for the position. But if you hire someone that is qualified, that you believe is intelligent enough to do the tasks, then give up the control, train them, give up control, and allow them to make mistakes.
Yep.
Because you made mistakes when you were doing it.
Still right? do. That's why I need help.
But that's how you learn.
Yeah.
And they're going to learn the same way. You have to be okay knowing that there are going to be mistakes, okay? And it might be mistakes that upset a customer every now and then, but you need to own it.
Yep.
Set the expectation with your clients and your buyers and sellers and say, hey, so-and-so is going to be doing this and reaching out and whatever it is that you're going to hire them to do, and allow them to learn, and then they get better. Now, if they make the same mistake over and over again, you got a problem. But if they learn from it and fix it, now you got somebody that is worth hanging on to.
Right.
And I got to spend so much more time with my family, and I took advantage of that, and I still do, but it allowed my brain time to think. And now I'm thinking, okay, here's what I can now do to grow my business, or to get that extra sale, or to do whatever it is that you need to do to build and grow your business. But that first step is hard, man.
And I realize I'm more successful when I go do things. Like anytime I'm out and about, like at a birthday party for kids or a field trip, those are my most successful times.
Yeah.
Like every time.
Imagine a world, Casey, where all you did was talk to people at events like that, or at things like that's all you did.
Yeah.
And then somebody says, hey, I want to buy a house. And then you say, great. Then you have somebody that can set up the search, and you have somebody that can actually take them on showings. And then you have somebody that can write the contract, right? And you have a whole system in place where you can meet somebody, get them a house, write the contract, close on it. And all you did was close the deal in the field.
Yep.
That'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And I think that you got to build up to that.
You do.
And I don't think every agent is ready to just get rid of their tasks right away.
Right.
You know, you have to learn the tasks.
Well,
in
and like
order
you
to
said,
hire
well,
for it.
you got to hire the right person, or it'll just destroy your brand immediately.
Yeah. Well, and if you don't know the task, then how do you know the right person to hire for it?
Right.
And how do you train for it? And how do you correct them if they're doing something wrong? So you got to know it, you know. And I think there's going to be probably some disagreements on how long you have to be in real estate before you start doing that, or how many transactions you have to do. And I think the answer to that is it depends on the person.
Yeah.
How quickly do you learn? You know, there are transactions to this day. I've now been involved in thousands of real estate transactions. And there are transactions sometimes weekly that are new to me that I learned something
Yep.
on. So if I was like, I got to wait till I learn everything to start delegating, no. You need to understand the process. You need to understand the contract. You need to understand the process and how to problem solve. Mm-hmm. Because if you know how to problem solve, then that's really the biggest asset, I think, right there is problem solving.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
When you start hiring for people, you're going to have problems come up. So
Yep.
anyways, if you're busy, think about what are you busy doing. And if it's tasks that are not making money, and that's a hard one for people to differentiate, because tasks need to get done,
Mm-hmm.
right? If I don't write this contract, then I don't get paid. So a lot of people say that is money making,
Right?
You know, I got to do it. But
you know what we mean.
Yeah, you can hire somebody to
Yeah.
do the contract writing if you need to. Which I mean, I guess kind of goes into the second point. The difference between being productive versus being busy. Habits that look productive but aren't. Let's talk about those.
Yeah, I mean, faking productivity is that to me, and again, I can't knock social media because it's important, but I think what a lot of agents want to do is just go sit behind their computer and go make videos.
Yeah.
Again, if they're doing all the income producing activities like open houses and networking and calling for sell by owners, then great. Like, make your videos because that will help you build your brand. But if you actually think someone's just going to like, go, oh, that was a great post, let's buy a house. Like, you're not going to build a business in that way.
Yeah, and it happens.
Especially
to what
not in the
Casey's
beginning.
saying, like, we don't want to knock it. There are influencers out there but they have a network. They've built this giant network. We have an agent here that gets thousands of views and comments when they post stuff. And most of her business right now comes from referrals and relationships and not from the videos yet.
Uh-huh.
But I have seen and talked to people that have gotten a lot of business off of making random posts that people see, and then they see that they do real estate and then they reach out.
Yeah.
Boy, but to be an influencer, it's very competitive.
Yeah.
You're competing for people's attention, and people don't have a lot of attention to give, and everyone's fighting for it.
Yep.
And so there's got to be something special about you. So everyone wants to go straight to social media. And so, yeah, I agree. Social media could be a big one that people get busy doing, recording videos. And, you know, if you're going to do it, you got to find a system, be consistent with it, and post consistently. But then you got to go further and continue to do the other work if you're going to do that.
Right.
The biggest one that I see when people first get into real estate is training.
Uh-huh.
Training and education.
Yes, you're right.
Is a big one. I've seen so many people that are like, they struggle to get business, and so they go take another CE course.
Uh-huh.
Well, I think maybe I just need to be the luxury expert. And if I'm the luxury expert and learn about luxury homes, then I'll start to get luxury clients.
Yep.
And no, the activities aren't going to change. If you're not doing the activities that get you business, it doesn't matter how much you study and how much you learn, you're not going to get the business. Just putting letters after your name doesn't guarantee people are going to pick you out of a crowd.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big one. And I think a lot of people end up switching careers many times when they struggle because I've seen so many people that get their license and then they struggle and then they go and do something else that requires education to get it.
Yeah.
And they're just repeating the cycle.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, it's because you have to do the right activities that build success.
Yeah.
And just being busy is not it. What else? Writing contracts, we talked about that. Showing homes.
Yeah, I mean, even staging houses, like you could have someone do all that stuff for you.
What about appointments? Like a listing appointment.
I think you should do that.
Yeah, I think that that's one. It depends. If it hasn't been converted yet, then yeah, you need to. That's the job, right? But if it's if it's already been converted and it's a guaranteed listing, then if you are good at setting expectation and showing value and showing someone like, hey, this is my system. Hey, I'm going to have somebody come over and show you what you need to do to get your house ready for pictures. And if it's just that, then you for sure can delegate that. Yeah. Right.
And then they can set the photography appointment while they're there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Timeline.
Someone can do all that for you. If it's an appointment that has to have you have to convert them to work with you, then yeah, you're going to be best for the job. What else? What else do we do? We talked about writing contracts, doing all the paperwork. TCs are great.
Putting signs out, getting lock boxes.
Putting signs out, lock boxes.
That's a time suck, big time.
A big time suck, and that one's an easy one to get. And there are companies out there that will do that for you.
Yeah. Thankfully, I mean, a lot of stuff is on the way to other stuff. So, I usually try to make time or like, oh, I'm over there anyways at a listing appointment, go grab my sign. But what really sucks is when you forget your sign.
Yeah.
And then because you're at pictures, you're like, I'm going to go pop this. Nope, I'm not putting the sign in the yard today. I'll be back tomorrow. But yeah, there's companies that do all that for you too.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people know this stuff, but then it's so easy to just to drive somewhere and put a sign out. Yeah. You don't need a college degree. You don't even need to graduate high school.
You just have to rely on your muscle memory to get you there.
Yeah, you don't even need to do that. If you have GPS on your phone, you should be fine. If you know how to use it, you're good. Yeah. And so that's why I think that agents don't go down the path of delegation, because a house could be 30 minutes away, and all I got to do is stick a sign in the yard, and people think I want to keep my money, and so I'm gonna just do it myself. It's easier than giving up money, but they don't realize how much money are you losing by not just paying somebody. So I challenge agents out there that are listening. I challenge you to set a budget aside and just start, allocating to pay people to do these things. And when you start doing that, when you start talking to people about hiring you, you can start justifying your 6% commissions. You can start charging your 7% commissions. Like, hey, when you get me, you're getting a whole team of people, an entire system that's going to be efficient, that's going to help you get your house sold faster for more money. And we're going to have multiple eyes on it. We're going to have multiple people that are going to make an effort to get it sold. And so you can start selling these things to them to differentiate yourself from the agents that aren't doing it, and justify your. I know agents that list for 7%, or in this day and age 4% for them, and they will not take a listing unless it's 4%, and they get it. Yeah. And so how do they get it? But yeah, other people can't. It comes down to value and what they're offering, and and they sell them on, hey, here's the expenses that I have that goes into getting your home sold. Not every agent is built the same. What does your business look like? What do your expenses look like? I think so many of us, when we think about what we're going to charge somebody, is we calculate it, and 100% of it comes to us. Right. And we'd forget about, well, man, if you actually set aside a business plan and said, okay, if I make this, if this is how much I make, okay, this percent goes towards my team, this percent goes towards my, taxes, and then this percent goes to my family and to my personal, right? Yeah. You got to break it down, because then you can start putting money towards a team to delegate. So easier said than done, and there's a control part to it, like what we talked about. But boy, is it freeing when you figure that stuff out. Clarity that eliminates chaos. I mean, I think all of this stuff can create clarity.
Right.
It's all, you got to put systems in place. You got to have a plan. Don't just do it to do it. Use the resources that you have to build systems, and take the time to train people. But when you train people, what I recommend is you get it on paper. Get your operating procedures down on paper. And so that way, if that person quits or you have to fire them for whatever reason, then you have everything that you train them on, you have it on paper so that they can go and have the next person can then go and kind of train themselves on a lot of it.
Yeah.
So that you don't have to take the time to train them every single time. Now you're going to have to do some of it, but if you get your operating procedures down on paper for every task that you do, then that's going to be key. The problem is that, that takes a lot of work.
Right.
And time. And then we get too busy we get comfortable and busy with the schedules that we've created.
Yeah.
And as we said before, growth does not happen when you're comfortable.
Yeah. And you know what I think about too? It's funny, like when I was younger, how long the days were. It's like, oh my God. It's like I'm going to be in school for 7 more hours and you're just like dying.
Yeah. And now
it's like, time. Yeah, dude, it's like 1 o'clock. It's like,
what?
I've barely gotten anything done and I haven't even looked away from my computer.
Yeah. It goes fast.
It's so crazy, dude.
It goes really fast.
So again, is why you got to be efficient.
Yeah. Try not to get in a routine that prevents you from doing these activities. Challenge yourself to get uncomfortable in what you're doing and think, what can I do to really help my business grow? And honestly, you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that this can actually create these things for you. And if you don't, then you're never going to take that step. You just won't. And so I think it's so important to be confident, and you're betting on yourself when you start setting up these systems and putting people in place.
Yeah.
If you put people in place and then keep the same other habits, and you're just paying someone to do the task and then and then you don't go and do other things, then if that's what you're going to do, then don't hire people. Yeah. Don't put people in place.
Sure.
Because then you're just, I mean, if that's what you want to do and you just want more free time, then fine. If you don't want to grow your business and have more, then you can do that. But if you've got to stay productive, I almost said busy. You gotta stay productive if you're going to hire people and put some systems in place. So
yeah, you rarely ever hear anyone tell you like, I've got plenty of money, I don't need any more.
I know, right? Yeah.
Because even if people that have a lot of money still generally want more money, which means they have to learn how to be more efficient with the time they have. Because that's what you always hear is even all the billionaires in the world still live in the same 24 hours that we do.
Yeah.
So,
well, and you're constantly going to be finding more things that you're going to be having to delegate. So it's never hire people and then you did it, you're done. Because as your business grows, you're going to create more opportunities for jobs and tasks.
Yep.
And you gotta be really good at discerning, like, okay, what tasks can I hire for? And but man, it's tough. We talk about the 3 mindset shifts in our brokerage, and just going from a 2-week paycheck every time to commission only is extremely tough. But then you go to start building a business, it gets tougher the further along that you go.
Yeah.
But you got to bet on yourself. Just bet on yourself.
Do it.
And if anybody wants help on setting this up, or, learning, what are good interview questions to ask if I'm hiring somebody, and what should I look for, where can I go? There's been a couple people in our brokerage that have hired some assistants and stuff, and I've helped them think through, okay, well, what is the job, what is the purpose, and what is the type of person that you need to go? Because I've had people that we've talked to at other brokerages that are like, I've tried it and it doesn't work because I can't find someone reliable and someone good.
Yeah.
And then I talked through them. I've talked to them about their hiring process, and there was breakdown. I immediately saw issues in their hiring process, and it's like a lot of people hire people that they know and feel comfortable with,
right?
And they feel empathetic towards them because they want to help. They want to help them. They're having trouble at home or whatever their situation is, and they just hire them because they want to help them earn some income. Well, if you know somebody and their habits are already poor, paying them money is not going to all of a sudden make them have good habits.
Right.
That's why people go through an interview process, and that's why companies will not hire people if they learn this up front. So you are a hiring manager. You have to think and act like one before you start bringing people in. So,
yep.
Anyways,
agreed.
Lot of, again, everyone's at different stages. Continue to work towards those stages and put those things in place.
Yep.
You want to recap?
Sure. Yeah. So ditch the busy badge, would you?
Done. Check.
Okay. And know the difference between being productive and busy.
Check.
Done.
Done.
Create clarity that eliminates chaos.
Great.
Okay. Well, guys, thanks for listening. We appreciate it. As we come to an end, we just want to...
we just want you to subscribe and like our stuff. That's what we want.
Yeah, those are the words I was looking for.
Is it really that hard?
You can click the bell. No, you can click the bell. Yeah, so just do it. And we will see you guys next week. Thanks for listening. My name is Casey Tuter. This is Curtis Haddock, and we are the Open Books Podcast.